If everyone will rise, we'll have our opening prayer and flag salute. I'd like to ask if Pastor Billy Collier of the First Christian Church would offer a message.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for blessing us with what we think is one of the greatest communities. And we just thank you for letting us live here. I thank you for all the citizens here as well as the leaders and everyone that wants to make this a great community. Bless all of those that are here through us. I ask you to be with everyone here tonight. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll call the March 14th, 2022 meeting of Newcastle Public Works Authority to order. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Carl Nell.
Here.
Mike Fullerton.
Here.
Tommy Clay.
Here.
Gene Reed.
Here.
Marcy White. Here.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action on approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion and second for approval of the agenda.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 3, citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for any citizen to comment on any matter related to the City of Newcastle Public Works that is not on the agenda. Might remind any individuals who choose to comment that all speakers shall clearly state their name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person with only one speaking opportunity. Board members will not respond to comments or questions. The chair may end comment period at his discretion, and prior authorization is required for distribution of materials or to approach the board. This time, are there any citizens' comments related to Newcastle Public Works? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item number 4, consent agenda. Is there any member of the board who requests that any item listed on the consent agenda be taken off and identified and acted on separately? All right, seeing none, item number 4, consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion second for approval of the consent agenda.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on any items removed from the consent agenda. Be no action on that agenda item. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on adjustment of utility account number 07-2247-00 at service address of 4217 Upper Lake Drive, J.C. Duchting. Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening, Jay Dictine, 4217 Upper Lake Drive. Been a resident here for 32 years
A little while.
at that same location. That's why I'm here.
So it looks like you did have a leak?
Massive.
Massive.
Matter of fact, what happened was I would have cut this a lot earlier, but I've been hospitalized most of January. So that's when it occurred. And then, of course, it also, as you all know, the soil's very acidic. It also ate through my underground air conditioning heating duct. So that was all replaced also, along with removal of about 20 pounds of dirt. That's the reason why I wasn't able to catch it any earlier than that. But plumbing did come out and rerouted the whole line,
Okay, did you provide?
which is now the number 4 line to be replaced.
Is this in your slab?
Sorry?
Is this in your slab?
Yes.
So have you provided the city with a copy of those repair bills?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also gave a copy also to Vita at the water department.
Okay. It appears, looking at your usage, that this impacted both the January and the February billing cycles, so I will make a motion that we adjust the February and January bills down to the average of the prior 12 months.
Second.
Motion second for adjustment of utility account.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you need the copy?
If you haven't given us a copy yet.
No,
yes.
Vita's already gotten one.
Oh, then we do not need a copy.
All right.
Vita's got one.
Appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 7, discussion and possible action on authorization to solicit quotes for financing purchase of real estate for expansion of the Newcastle Sports Complex on State Highway 130.
The city attorney is writing the agreement with Mr. Owen on this property. As a matter of fact, he's already sent me a draft agreement, and it's going to be sent to, of course, Mr. Owen's attorney to have them review it. But anyway, we would like to go ahead and solicit quotes for financing. We haven't done that yet. This will give us plenty of time to go through that and then bring it back to council in April for selection.
I have a question, just on a learning point for me. Why does this have to go on Public Works and the other? Like what, just so I understand the reasoning.
As far as the property,
Well, why we discuss it on both?
On both agendas?
I would just figure it'd be on the council and not the Public Works.
well, mainly because since we're doing a loan, it has to go through NPWA.
Oh, okay.
And then we also put it on the city agenda because it does,
Contracts.
yeah.
Okay, no, oh, that makes sense. I just knew there was something I didn't understand yet, so that makes sense.
I'll make a motion to approve item 7.
Second.
Motion second for approval, item number 7.
Mike Fullerton?
Yes.
Tommy Clay?
Yes.
Gene Reed?
Yes.
Marcy White?
Yes.
Carl Nell?
Yes. Item number 8, monthly treasurer's report.
No bad news.
No bad news. I'll start off with our sales and tax like I usually do. For the month of February, sales and tax equaled a little over $115,000. Of that amount, $659,000 was from sales and $155,000 was from use. Our sales tax was down a bit from our previous month, but the use tax was up compared to the previous month. We're still 22.3% ahead of where we budgeted to be for both taxes, and we're 25.5% higher than our monthly target of $650,000. Compared to our previous years, we're 14.7% higher than FY21 and 19.5% higher than FY20. So we're still trending upwards for the most part. And despite our conservative approach with our expected revenues, we're still running ahead on our revenue amount, so it is good news. The sales and use tax, of course, is higher, but so are some of our other taxes, such as our gas excise, motor vehicle tax, alcoholic beverages, tobacco tax, hotel motel tax. Things that we anticipated slowing down this year have not slowed down, so they're all doing really well for us. All of our departments are operating within or under their budgets, with the exception of 2. And in all actuality, those 2 that are showing operating above are for extenuating circumstances. One of them was the engineering fee for Eunice Avenue. That was a pretty high cost that we haven't budgeted for out of street, and some equipment and maintenance repairs, or maintenance, not repairs on equipment for street. And the communications department, if you look at your budgets, that's going to look like it's highly executed, but that's where we purchased the dispatch consoles that were damaged in the lightning storm. So those aren't really operating outside of their budgets, so everybody's doing really well. The biggest news for me this month was we wired the money for the new fire truck that we finally got in. You'll see that shown in your February financials, as far as the payment to Conrad. However, the money from the loan came in 1 day later, so you'll see that next month on the financials. That's why that may look a little funny when you look at our fund balances. The fund balances are as follows. In the general fund, we have $3.8 million. The capital improvement tax fund is $1.9 million. We did have a lot of payouts out of the 70% from the street projects we have scheduled. The economic development is $38,000. Cemetery fund is $63,000. The parks capital improvement is $54,000. Fire station fund is now at $1.5 million. Admin and tech fund is back up to $83,000. Grant cost share fund is $1.1 million. And our fire department tax fund has raised $795,000 to help cover the $2 million we've spent so far operating our fire department. The PWA fund is $2.8 million. Water impact fees are sitting at $1 million, while sewer is sitting at $1.2 million. The wastewater plant fund has $3.1 million, but keep in mind $930,000 of that is from the ARPA funds. And all funds combined, we have $16.8 million. I know you guys approved the transportation impact fee back in February, but you won't see any revenue from that or any reporting of that till I do the March financials and present that to you in April. So we are getting money there too, just not in this month, in February's data. Are there any questions for me?
Maybe a question for you or Kevin. I'll ask you first. The fire department fund contributed $795,000. Does that mean money came out of that into the general fund? it came out of that to help go toward the construction of the fire department?
No, it's operations. That's the half-cent
Oh, for
tax.
operation,
It helps, that
it
two-
does, no, okay, I missed that.
That 2 million is the
It does
operating budget.
it does every month.
Correct.
Okay, I beg your pardon, I was thinking that was a fire station. Kevin, I noticed in, last year, the sales and tax took a 2 months pretty deep dive in March and April. I wonder if that's a common thing to happen during the year?
It is common. I've seen that every single year now that
Okay.
I've been at City Hall for the last 10 years, and normally it's February, March. For some reason that has shifted over the last 2, 3, 4 years to March, April.
Okay.
I'm sorry, January, February, and it has shifted to February, March. But
Okay.
usually it starts picking back up in March, April because spring hits and people start buying things for spring and things of that nature. But yes, it is common.
Okay, so, and we dipped a little bit, as Jeannie reported, so we may see another month or two, and then it'll spring back hopefully.
And we did just see another dip for March's taxes, which you'll see next month.
Okay, so we're gonna, okay,
So hopefully that will spring back up in spring, come April.
yeah,
But we've kind of calculated, Jeannie and I sat down, we actually did our revenue budgets, and Mayor, with your permission, I'll just go ahead and use this. We did start our budget process last week on revenues, and looking at the last 3 years of revenues and how taxes and everything came in, it was primarily up for the 3 years. There wasn't, basically it offset itself on these dips and the rises. And 2 out of those 3 years, it actually went up in February, March, and April instead of dipping. So I expect, though, for the last 2 years, it was because everybody was actually stuck at home during the coronavirus, and buying things off of the internet and whatnot, and that probably fueled our taxes increasing during that time.
okay.
But I'm not expecting right now just a huge dip in our taxes. Although, with the things going on in the world right now, it's anybody's guess, so. And just to add a little bit as far as the NPWA side, and it's in my report, but I had a chance to meet with Kenny Sullivan and Luke, our engineer, last week, and I believe you were a part of that as well. Meetings are starting to run together. But anyway, we talked about a lot of different projects that we could potentially submit for the ARPA funding. And then there were some things too there's just a lot of projects that we have to work on over the next several years. We're hoping that money, may come in for some of these, but major projects that will make a huge difference in the way our infrastructure operates and where we can boost water pressure in different areas where we can actually supply wastewater services and things of that nature. And Jim Miller, our superintendent, is the one that has really been working this plan and working on long-term plans to put these things into place, as well as John Canary is doing the same thing right now, working on a 5-year plan for our roads and maintenance and things of that nature. So I think there's going to be a lot of activity that takes place that's going to be very beneficial as long as we can maintain our budget and sales tax, use tax keeps increasing. There will be a lot of changes over the next few years.
Do you think the state will go out of their way or will have any way of fairly distributing that, or is it first come, first served? Because, could cities jump in there and get more than, get, I don't know if it's a fair share is the right term, but.
Well, it does have to go through a committee process. There's 4 different committees that your project, when you submit it, has to go through, and then it has to go to the governor for signature, for approval. So I think they're vetted. Those projects will be vetted fairly well, and they'll keep it as fair as possible, I guess. But I think probably what's in a city's favor is whether or not and how close that project is to shovel ready. Although it doesn't state that in the documentation, But I think that the closer you are to shovel-ready projects, the more favorable it will look to the committees possibly. And right now, one of our projects, the sewer plant, in my mind, and talking with Kenny about this and Luke, we kind of think that that sewer plant may have a lot of favorability going forward because we're so far along with the engineering and design. So that'll be our main
Kudos to the
project.
team, to the staff.
The federal funds I've seen pouring out, they've given them to people who are like, we're already working on this. They like the easy, because
Right.
it's fast show for PR and stuff.
Yeah, we're hopeful.
Thank you.
That's all that, Mayor.
General manager comments, I guess we've
Yeah.
taken care of. So item number 10, any trustee comments? All right, seeing none, item number 11 is adjournment.
Make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion is second for adjournment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. This time I'll call the March 14th, 2022 meeting of Newcastle City Council to order. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Carl Nell.
Here.
Mike Fullerton.
Here.
Tommy Clay.
Here.
Gene Reed.
Here.
Marcy White. Here.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action on approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second for approval of the agenda.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 3, citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for any citizen to comment on any matter related to the city of Newcastle that is not on the agenda. Or might remind individuals who choose to comment that all speakers shall clearly state their name and address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person with only one speaking opportunity. Council members will not respond to comments or questions. The mayor may end comment period at his discretion, and prior authorization is required for distribution of materials or to approach the council. This time, is there any citizen comment related to the city of Newcastle? All right, item number 4 is consent agenda. Is there any member of council that would like any item that's listed on the consent agenda to be removed and individually addressed? Needs to be,
Yes.
and talked about individually.
No, just remove.
Okay. I will make a motion for approval of the consent agenda with item I stricken from the agenda.
Second.
Motion second for approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Mike Fullerton.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on any items removed from the consent agenda. Be no action on that agenda item. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on recommendation of planning commission. Item number 6A, discussion and possible action on approval of final plat of
Oh, dear, how
Natsukashi.
you pronounce that?
No action.
Okay, do we need to continue this? Keep it on?
If no notice is given, so unless you want to. We don't, it's not required, it's not jurisdictional.
Okay.
Was it just something that's already been resolved?
No, they just
No.
actually requested not be active on tonight.
Okay. Then no, yeah, we don't need to do anything.
All right, be no action on item number 6A. This is a request from the applicant. Item 6B, discussion and possible action on adoption of ordinance number 903, amending the Newcastle Code of Ordinances, Title 15, Section 153.089A by adding subsection 13A, providing the required grading, slope standards, and retaining wall standards for stormwater drainage management.
Good evening, council. Luke Day, city engineer. This is a proposed ordinance amendment that reflects the right-of-way grading criteria, which is generally 4-to-1 slopes, to developments as a whole. It provides criteria where retaining walls would be required, and then drainage criteria for those walls.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but the criteria that we're putting in for the walls is criteria that's already in the standard building code that we've adopted as the city of Newcastle?
Correct, for the walls?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So this, like, I mean, we've been coming up to doing something about this for a while, I know, but does this apply if someone has a PUD, or does that pull them away from this requirement as well?
No, it would apply across the board,
Okay, okay.
other than ag. Correct.
other than ag?
That's zoning.
Yeah, when this would apply is when anybody would come in either for a building permit regarding a retaining wall or a new building permit for a house. But most specifically, it's gonna require any new developments, plats that are gonna be filed. Yeah.
So it includes ag.
It would, potentially could include ag if somebody wanted to do an ag development and keep to that zoning and have the 5-acre lots. You know, it could potentially do that. So it's across the board in all zoning districts, but it doesn't seek out current, like, designation of ag land and where people have farm terraces or anything like that. It would be that they would have to come in for a development proposal or a new building permit that would require a retaining wall or grading.
So what if I'm building a tilt-up silage pit?
A what?
Tilt-up concrete silage pit in
Which might be
ag
on my
zoning?
vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Well, tell me what a silage pit is, sir.
Oh.
Concrete,
In ag?
in ag, concrete floor,
Uh-huh.
tilt-up, 12-foot tilt-up concrete walls that are tilted up and then have earth, they're put out about probably about a 10-15% angle. And then there's earth that goes up against them, and that's what silage is packed inside those.
Okay.
So it's in excess of the 4 feet, but would that be something that would need to be approved and be engineered and all of those type of things?
We do have a clause in there that states, for the city engineer approval.
Other methods as approved by the city engineer.
Very good. Make sure.
So it may not apply to this, but just in general, if someone builds a retaining wall, they have to have a permit?
There's a 4-foot criteria.
4-foot criteria, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
No greater than 4.
3
I mean,
foot,
anything
11
else?
inches, you're golden.
Anything over 4, you gotta get
Oh, okay,
less than 4.
okay.
Do we have a general standard for our 4 foot or less?
We follow International Building Code, which is the 4-foot criteria is our current practice. So really no impact in that fashion.
Just curious on the footing and stuff, make sure there is a footing on some of
If
them.
it's less than 4 feet, then we really don't have a standard.
If someone, sorry, I asked so many questions, but I'm curious now. If someone were to build one and play the whole I'm sorry game and later, then do they have to show that it was engineered and all that, or they gotta take it down? I mean, because there's potential liability on the city for letting them keep it if we don't, right?
That's something we'd have to evaluate, as, case by case basis there.
I just don't want us being held liable if we leave something up if it's, and I don't know of any situation, I'm just thinking through it. But, okay.
Any public comment concerning this agenda item?
I just wanted to add one thing to your comment. If somebody did come in, or if somebody called in and said, oh, I noticed that there's a retaining wall, that's where our code enforcement and our building inspectors would go out, figure out if they did have a permit or not. If at that time we figured they did not have a permit, we would then ask them to complete a building permit, and that's when they'd have to come in with proof and
If
specs
they
on
had
how
it
that was
engineered and
built.
everything. I mean, I'm not, because there could be a situation where they
Yeah,
did.
if
they
it's
just
over
didn't
4
permit.
feet or 4 feet above.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Janae, this doesn't apply just, this only applies if there's a retaining wall involved? No.
Go ahead, Lou.
It's a general grading ordinance.
Right.
So when you need, for a certain situation, if you need, more space and you need that wall to create a larger, flatter spot,
Yeah.
then that's when the wall piece of this
Oh.
ordinance would apply.
Right. However, this ordinance doesn't apply just to that example. It applies for any grading.
Correct.
That there must be, or there will be, no more than a 4-to-1, or?
Correct, which is a general mowable criteria.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And what prompted you, it's in numerous issues, what's an example that we've been facing that prompts this?
Can I bring specific examples?
Or
Sure.
potential, or,
One would be the Ridge subdivision
uh-huh.
and the grading, the steep grading out there. is
Okay.
one, that's been talked about at the council level.
Okay.
Another one is the Windermere 4 development, that's been talked about at council.
Okay, all right.
Which, at that point, we didn't have any criteria for retaining walls, correct?
We follow IBC standards.
Right.
So if it's 4 feet or above, it should have been built to that.
Yeah, I don't believe it was.
Oh,
Don't believe it's 4 feet or
I
above.
don't believe it was above 4 feet.
I don't believe it is
No, I
either.
didn't say that.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Windermere went above 4 feet?
No.
Oh,
Yeah. So it wouldn't fall into this criteria.
Well, there's pieces of this that would.
Okay.
So,
On the slopes.
number one, the slope, and then number two, the drainage.
Well, because it's got, retaining wall only comes up less than 4 feet, and it's a huge slope going up
Right.
to that property. So that would not be allowed unless they built a retaining wall up to hold that in.
Correct.
Or they would have to modify the slope to where it wasn't as steep.
Right.
Correct.
It's so,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which we had no criteria whatsoever for the slope and the grading back there.
So this would require them to address, the person building the wall to address the drainage
okay.
along with the slope.
All right. I'm with that.
It's a pretty significant advantage for us to have this in place.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, there's all of them there, but it's, to the minimum is 4 to 1,
Right.
for 16.
Yeah,
for 16 foot.
the maximum slope steepness. So it gives criteria for softer slopes, but, the one we're generally focused on is the maximum 4 to 1.
All right. Any other council questions or concerns? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a, let me see, what is
Make a motion to approve item 6B.
it? Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 6B.
Couldn't roll fast enough.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay,
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 6C, discussion and possible action on adoption of the emergency clause of ordinance number 903.
Make a motion to approve item 6C.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 6C.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay,
Yes.
Gene Reed,
Yes.
Marcy White, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on the award of construction manager, general constructor for the animal shelter construction project and authorization for the city manager to negotiate an agreement.
Guernsey Engineering actually advertised this for us as they did on, excuse me, as they did on the fire station. The only difference is on this project, we only received one, statement of qualifications, and that was received from Nabholz Construction. They also had submitted for the fire station as well, but weren't selected. I have no issues whatsoever with Nabholz. Being our CMGC, they're a good company, they've done a lot of projects. So, I mean, it's council's preference on this, whatever you want us to do.
There's no percentages at this point for.
Not yet, we need to negotiate it.
I think they're a really good company,
They're extremely solid.
The other contractor did.
so.
What, the way Guernsey explained it to me is right now, there's a lot of companies that are extremely busy, and most companies are looking for the larger projects, and this is a fairly small project.
Very accurate, a lot of work up there right now.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve item 7 for Nabholz.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 7.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White, Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 8, discussion and possible action on approval of memorandum of understanding between the City of Newcastle and the Newcastle Chamber of Commerce effective March 14th, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, and renewable each year thereafter.
This agreement was submitted by the chamber, I believe it was last Thursday, if I remember correctly. Read through the agreement. I will say there are some things in the agreement that, that the city does primarily, Jeanette, with the business aspect of it. Not everything that is in the agreement. I mean, I have no objections. I mean, it's council's choice on this, but I have no objections to it.
I have, like I said, Chamber does an amazing job, lifting up the city and doing things for it. I see no reason why we wouldn't continue that relationship full throttle.
It does include an approximate annual value of priceless.
So that was really.
That's gotta be good, right?
Well, I make a motion that we approve item number 8.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 8.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 9, discussion of possible action on mayor's proclamation to declare the city of Newcastle a Purple Heart City.
I believe Mr. Morris is here. I believe it's Morris. With the VFW. And they have basically requested that the city do a proclamation to recognize Newcastle as a Purple Heart City.
Good evening.
I'm Lynn Morris. I live in Tuttle, 7510 Ponderosa Drive, and I'm here with representing the VFW in Blanchard and the American Legion in Blanchard, requesting to make Newcastle a Purple Heart City. So we've contacted the state of Oklahoma Purple Heart Group, and Amy is here, Stout. She is representing them, and she brought you the sample proclamation.
Hi, I am the ambassador for Oklahoma for the National Military Order of Purple Heart. By becoming a Purple Heart City, not only do you show your support for veterans that earn their Purple Heart, but also their family and for all veterans. Also, once a proclamation is signed, then the state of Oklahoma is notified that you are a Purple Heart City. It goes to the governor's desk, and he has a proclamation kind of that supports where Senator Simpson made Oklahoma a Purple Heart state. So this kind of piggybacks off of that. Oklahoma DVA is also notified, and they put in all of their information that you are a veteran-friendly city. Also, the Department of Tourism is notified, so then you are free to use the Purple Heart logo on all of your city advertisements, everything that you're supporting Purple Heart. Yes, there is road signs. I'm like, I'll get all of that. So there's different sizes that are available. I did submit the packet. They start kind of at $60 and go on up. I will tell you the smaller sign, you may think once you're looking at it and it's in your hands, it's really big, but it's really not. We've had a couple towns that they started with that and have since started changing their signs, because when it's up, it's smaller than your speed limit sign.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to be able to have it legible. A lot of times they are at all of your entrances into the city, as well as like your city hall. So that's just ideas where you guys.
And Newcastle, Tuttle and Blanchard have the basically 18 by 24, and it says City of Tuttle, Purple Heart City, and has the deal on it. So if we would be willing to furnish those to do it with, and then we would get donations to cover those. Those signs are $60 a piece. They have a bigger one that's $90, and they have a smaller one. Those are what both Tuttle and Blanchard are using.
We said we want bigger than theirs.
I mean, we surely would.
You're free to build it how you want.
And typically, there is a company that they have been kind of contracted, that they've created the signs. They will make them, they will invoice whomever, whether it be the city or the VFW American Legion. All of those will come in, they'll either ship to me or I'll go pick them up. You do also get a plaque for the city that says, basically the city of Newcastle is a Purple Heart city. And so typically the signs and the plaque are presented at a presentation ceremony. We do have some of our national Purple Heart reps that come in, that come to that. We open it to the public. We ask veterans and their families to come because it's ultimately a celebration for you guys.
Would you happen to know how many Purple Heart recipients are in our areas?
Not specifically within your area, I can get that.
I'm just curious, and how many cities have signed on so far? Are there many?
So far, there's numerous. Canadian County has completely jumped on board. We started in Grady County. We've looked at Woodward. There's, I believe, there's 46 towns at last count that became Purple Heart cities.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 9.
Can I ask just one?
Yes.
I'm all for it. I'm just curious. So is there anything, it seemed like this was kind of started off federalized coming through. So is there any benefits to our veterans here by us claiming to be a Purple Heart? Is there any benefits to you guys that brings us? So what's
There's
symbiotic
not a
relationship?
kickback for us.
Yeah.
Basically is what happens is the veterans are recognized, and it's just that you're supporting veterans and it's putting that reality out there. Not many people, we found out about 2.5 months ago that my grandpa earned a Purple Heart. He was in the Chosen Reservoir, never talked about it. I'm 42 years old and I have no clue on a lot of the chunk of his history that I'm starting to find out. And we find that with veterans, they don't have a core spot that they can come and they can gather and they can share who they are. But this is a way that you would be amazed at these presentation ceremonies. You've seen vets that they come together, they start talking, they start sharing their story, and it brings up that it stops the 22 a day. There's 22 vets a day that commit suicide. And that's 22 too many. And whatever we can do to help support and get the word out and just come together as a community and a family, and I think that's ultimately what we should do.
Absolutely.
The question was asked if we knew how many Purple Heart veterans there are in this area. I know of 2, and that's just 2 of hundreds that you guys probably have living around here.
Yeah, and I think we would be more than happy to pay for the signs.
Right.
Yeah.
That are bigger than
Bigger
Blanchard.
sign.
Bigger than Blanchard.
This could get gaudy.
We're right here on the highway and all, so.
Well, then definitely you guys, look at how many signs that you want.
Maybe our staff can get back to you on that.
We
And
appreciate you
yeah, thank you very
bringing this
much.
to our attention, and we're very, very thrilled to be a part of it.
Awesome.
I will second your motion.
And I'd be happy to amend that to acknowledge that we'll purchase some signs in accordance to it. Are you okay with
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
Yeah.
Amend the second.
We'll authorize the city to make a decision on signage.
Then
Have a
I
mo-
can, I can provide the W-9 from the sign company to you guys. I can get that emailed over.
Very good.
Excellent.
Motion second for approval of item number 9,
Thank you so
with
much.
the addition of city purchasing the signs.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes, thank you very much.
And one more comment, as you go down 37, where you turn into Whispering Pines, there's a
Oh.
brand new and Tuttle house right
Okay.
there, if you'd like to see.
Good to know, because we usually don't go down Highway 37.
At least not that far.
I will tell you right till there is city limits, so you can
Right.
see the signs.
Not having to get in trouble.
Well,
No,
they're
no, I'm not
just
going
gonna
record
have the
saying we love
billboard
Tuttle
the
too,
other
but,
way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I
Appreciate
will
it.
also tell you that I live in Tuttle.
I know, we love you
But
for it.
we pay to the school districts and stuff in Newcastle.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right, there you
We
go.
vote in McLean County, Grady County, Newcastle, and Tuttle.
We love you all. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Friendly jive.
Have a good evening. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on confirmation of mayor's nominations to fill the following planning and zoning commission position vacancies, each to serve 3-year terms. Item number 10A, Gordon Harness, term expires March 2022. I make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion second for reappointment of Gordon Harness. Yes.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay,
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item 10B, Will Wright. I will make that motion.
I have a quick question, and I should ask on the first one, but I kind of knew the answer. I guess there aren't any issues with like everybody's making it, they're able to make it to most of the meetings and they're not out. I know
The-
Gordon does because he.
These
that's just every meeting.
individuals are.
Okay, good, that's what I was
Yes.
wondering. Okay, thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second for reappointment of Will Wright.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay,
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 11, discussion and possible action on city council appointment of members to fill vacancies on the Newcastle Board of Adjustments, each to serve 3-year terms. Item number 11A, Gordon Harness, and I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion second for appointment of Gordon Harness.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 11B, Lloyd P. Buddy Eishen, and I'll make that motion.
Buddy, really? No. I'll second it.
Motion second for reappointment of Buddy Eishen.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 12, discussion and possible action on ordinance number 904 regarding amendment to the City of Newcastle CMO plan, adopting the revised and restated OKMRF Master Defined Contribution Retirement Plan.
Currently, there's nobody that actually participates in this retirement plan. Once my predecessor had left. But, Camille and I discussed this, I think it's still a good idea that the city maintain this plan,
I think so.
just in case at some point, so that's why it's on here, and they have revised it, I guess, and Camille dealt with this, but
Is this like, they can participate where they could have like a 401K type of, I don't know, like it's foreign language to me right here. I'm like, been looking at it, but I'm.
yeah, OMRF is, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Camille, but OMRF is,
A defined contribution.
yeah, and it's basically, I think primarily it's executive level.
It's for key employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what it usually is.
So why wouldn't, like, what's, obviously there's another option if no one's like participating in it. So they can participate in that or whatever.
Or both.
Okay.
Or both, yeah,
Okay.
and mine, I just choose to do the 401K.
Oh, okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So we're keeping it alive.
Okay, cool.
We're doing this to comply with IRS updates, so.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve item number 12.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 12. I have to get faster, Mike.
I was gonna give it to
More you go.
I beat him. I beat him.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White.
Yes.
Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 13, discussion of possible action on adoption of the emergency clause of ordinance number 904.
Oh, motion to approve agenda item 13.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 13.
Who was it?
I don't know.
I think Mike got that
There's
one.
a tie.
Die.
Give him a makeup there.
Okay. Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
Yes.
Gene Reed.
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes. Item number 14, city manager's comments.
A lot of different things that are happening. I got a lot of it in the report that I sent out to council today. One thing that I will discuss too, though, is, and I don't know if any council members has received any comments or not, but we did institute a burn ban. McLean County actually dropped the burn ban a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Don't ask me why, but all of the counties surrounding us, except to the east, maintain their burn bans, and after discussing all of it with the fire chief, that's what we're gonna keep ours in place, at least in Newcastle. And the fire department has been running a lot of grass fires, some of them significant, some of them not. But that'll be in place until this Wednesday, and we'll reevaluate again, see what the outlook is for weather and humidity and things of that nature. Just a lot of different things that is taking place, still working on personnel, acquiring personnel, working on the city hall design and engineering. Should have that to council next month as far as the scope and fee for that project. Myself and Jeanette and Janae met with Guernsey last week. Yeah. Met with them last week and had some good discussion as to what we would all like to see in a new city hall and how that potentially could be laid out, and grouping different work groups together in city hall, council chambers in city hall where we have meetings there and things of that nature. So long way off from it. My estimate on the city hall is 3 years. But I think it's time we get started on design and engineering, so.
We need vibrating massage chairs.
Yeah.
That's it now.
That's what you do that long in the evening.
That's just for the council.
That's what I'm saying.
How about ejection? Meeting adjourned.
Not to self-eject. Somebody
I'm
else will have to
sorry.
think about that.
Sorry. Sorry, Tommy, you're out.
That's all.
All right, item number 15, council member comments.
I'll make a comment. I've had the pleasure of serving with the school on their master planning committee, and I was specifically asked to serve on their, well, for a couple of reasons, but they especially wanted to have someone who's working with the city and on the council. And to each and every applicant or presenter for our architects and for the construction management, they specified, as they introduced us, they paid a lot of value to the city having a voice to these groups who are proposing to work for the school. So I appreciated that. I appreciate that in the superintendent and in our CFO for emphasizing the need for whoever comes in. They kind of the expectation is to work closely with the city, and we've seen in years past where it didn't work as well as we wanted it to. So, proof's in the pudding, or whatever the right metaphor is. It's yet to be proven, but I'm real hopeful, and at least I'm proud that we have been able to emphasize that.
Very good. Any other council member comments? All right, item number 16, item 16A, discussion and possible action on entering into an executive session as permitted under 25 OS, section 307B1, discussing the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee, the city treasurer's evaluation. And item 16B, discussion and possible action on entering into an executive session as permitted under 25 OS 307B1, discussing the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee, the city manager's evaluation. And item 16C, discussion and possible action on advice of council to enter into an executive session as permitted under 25 OS, section 307B3, discussing the purchase or appraisal of real property. We will not be taking up item 6C. That has been requested to be stricken. So at this time, we will be looking at item number 16A and B. And I will make a motion that we enter into an executive session with our city attorney, our city manager when called, and our city treasurer when called.
Second.
Motion and second to enter into an executive session.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Tommy Clay,
Yes.
Jim Reed,
Yes.
Marcy White. Yes. Carl Nell.
Yes, we will take about a 5-minute break.